Hi, I'm Simone Barbosa, professor at the Pontifical Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and general co-chair for CHI 2022.
My name is Cliff Lampe. I'm a professor at the School of Information at the University of Michigan, and I am proud to serve as one of this year's general chairs for CHI 2022.
Hello, I'm Carolina Père from Université Paris-Saclay, France, and I'm one of the two technical program chairs for CHI 22.
Hi, I'm David Shama from Toyota Research Institute, and I am one of the technical program co-chairs for CHI 2022.
Hi, this is Cliff Lampe, one of your co-general chairs for CHI 2022. I want to just take a second to welcome you to CHI 2022 and tell you how excited we are to be putting on this program for you. I want to thank you on behalf of myself, my co-chair, Simone Barbosa, the technical program chairs, Carolina Père and David Shama, and then the Equity, Justice, and Access chairs, Kata Spiel and Christina Harrington. We've already been working hard for you for the past several months, trying to get CHI 2022 ready. Literally dozens of volunteers have been working on different parts of the conference, from the experience to the technical tracks and everything else like that. And we're very proud of the program we're starting to put into place. It's up to you, and we understand how much volunteer effort is going to come from reviewers and authors and content creators of all types for CHI 2022 to really make it a success. And I hope that we can count on you to be part of the team. As of now, we are anticipating a hybrid conference. What that really means, the technical program chairs will talk a little bit more about later in this video. We're not sure is the short answer, and we're going to do our best to adapt to what the CHI 2021 experience is and all the wisdom that they've learned, as well as listen to you and to your voices. What do you want from a hybrid conference? That's the big question here. We do expect that we will at least have part of the conference that take place in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, if you haven't visited New Orleans or had the opportunity to, it's one of America's finest cities. It's an incredible site of culture, history, creativity. It's got world-class food. And if you haven't had a beignet or chicory coffee down at a Café du Monde, it is an experience unlike any other. It is really just a special place to be. The art, the music, everything about New Orleans screams creativity, culture, community. And that's what we want our theme to be this year. The theme we have for CHI 2022 is cultivating communities. And we want to think of ourselves as, how do we build just, equitable, fair communities of research and practice across the CHI world? A couple of highlights from CHI 2022, things that we're particularly proud of. One is that we've added Equity, Justice, and Access chairs to the executive chair team. What that means is that Kata and Christina sit in on every meeting, and that they have been part of the process from the very beginning. So we build these principles into every part of the CHI 2022 experience, and we are trying to be informed by the voices of the community as we are making these decisions. As part of that, for instance, this year, another thing that we tried to do was to have open calls for organizing committee positions. I think this was a fantastic success. The community really responded. We had over 200 volunteers for positions to serve on the organizing community, and we picked from a wide variety, a huge opportunity of people from all across the planet, from industry, from academia, early in their careers, later in their careers. I am incredibly proud of the diversity of our organizing committee and how many different voices that committee represents. And you can see how that's been paid off in the conversations we have about different CHI experiences. Like I said, we're working hard on what hybrid will mean, but what I can tell you is that we're committed to no second-class experiences. We want all the online experiences, we want all the in-person experiences to be rich, meaningful, and fulfilling for you, the participant and contributor to the CHI community. So I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans, and if it's online, I will hopefully see you there too. And thank you so much for all of your efforts for CHI, and we look forward to a great CHI 2022.
Thanks for that, Simone and Cliff. I'd like to talk a bit about the technical program and how we've been designing it with the general chairs, and then my co-chair Carolyn and myself as technical program chairs. One thing that kept on coming up and that we've seen year in year at CHI is this question about rebuttals and how effective are they? Do they even matter? And to kind of address that, we decided to just think about a better process overall. And so we'll be moving in CHI 22 to a revise and resubmit process. We're very excited about that, because what that means is that shepherding and rebuttaling is turned into a full revision cycle, with the hopes that we can get higher quality papers better equity and better decision and better engagement between our authors and reviewers and ACs. Now, one of the things with rebuttals was they were sort of these promises that you would leave. Maybe they were shepherded, maybe they weren't. And these are promises to the ACs in this sort of compartmentalized fast dialogue. Or if we go to a revise and resubmit process, we can have better attention and actual revisions that can be evaluated. We can sort of get better paper and have better connections between the authors and the reviewers and the ACs. Also, shepherding is a varying experience. I've had shepherds who are very hands-on. I've had shepherds who kind of phoned it in at the end of the day. And so really going through a revision cycle lets us make sure everyone gets good engagement with the reviewers and the ACs. And those reviewers are important because those external reviewers are often the experts for some of the vertical things that we touch into in our papers. And so really getting them into the R&R cycle where there is more conversation, where there's more back and forth for that revision, we believe will lead to better papers and better decisions. And really, we're very excited about it. However, this comes at the cost of time. As a result, and many of you don't want to hear this, we are lengthening the timeline a little bit here. So we're going to see submissions now due in early September, and then we'll have a round one decision point in November where papers will be rejected or flagged for R&R, or a few maybe fast-tracked. And then for the second round, will be a couple of months there, and then we'll have second round submissions due in January of 2022, with those decisions coming back rather quickly in February, as they should be. And that will kind of squeeze into a quick camera-ready turnaround for those R&R papers, although we're optimistic about making those timelines work. Because the event is going to be virtual or personal or in person or both. And actually we're going to be sort of pushing towards both, but we want to make sure we design this right for everyone, with everyone. And so a couple of the considerations that come up is this notion of hybrid. If we have an on-site event, what does that mean? Well, we can actually reach to remote attendees and hopefully in the same or as rigid capacity as possible, as well as the on-site attendees. And really that's what the key of hybrid is. But there are some challenges. Some demos won't work. Some poster sessions are hard to meander. The hallway conversations, all the things we've been realizing with virtual, they're just going to extend to that hybrid. And we know those are challenges that are there. Also, when we're hybrid, we can't really have a 24-hour program because we're bound to the time zones and working hours of New Orleans, Louisiana. And so we don't have that 24-hour-ness in a hybrid venue as we would as in a virtual venue, which is why we want to do both, and we will be doing both. And so we're planning for early April to have a fully virtual event with full and premium content, and then at the end of April to have an on-site event that will also be hybrid, so remote attendees can also lock into that. It's very important that we're trying to make sure there is no second tiering event, that both the virtual and the on-site / hybrid have rich premium content, and it's not a second experience. It's actually both will be full experiences, and it's going to be a richer Kai, but it's going to take 2 events and more time. And how do we balance that out? How do we structure those calls? Something we've been looking at very closely the last couple of months with all of our venue chairs. Thank you, all venue chairs. And we'll be also monitoring Kai 2021 very closely, looking to see what works, what doesn't work, what feels right, what doesn't, and we want feedback. We want to hear from everybody. We want as much as we can understand to help make 22 as great a success as possible, and it's going to rely on that feedback. And so with that, I think I have the pleasure of closing out this virtual town hall session. We can see on the slide here, there's Simone and Cliff and how to contact them, Carolyn and myself, how to contact us, also Keta and Christina, how to contact them. And feel free to reach out. Looking forward to hearing more, and we're looking forward to a great Kai 2022, and thank you so much.